Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly coffee. Today, I'm here with Tevin Gongo. He's expert in marketing and sales consultant and trainer, so he's doing more or less like I do. So it's so nice to have a person doing the same that I do in a different way. Hi,
Yes.
Tevin. How are you?
Hey, I'm really fine, Gemma. Gemma, I'm really, really fine. What about
Oh,
you? How are you?
good, good. I'm happy with sun in Spain, so that's perfect.
Lucky you, lucky you.
I know. I feel really good with that. So, Tevin, can you tell us a little about your background, a little about yourself, so that the people knows?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. My background is initially I'm a lawyer. That's what I study at uni. So at uni, I think I grew up in an environment where I saw a lot of injustice. So I was sure that I would become like a lawyer with the idea that, as a lawyer, you're going to be able to defend
Mhm.
the orphan and the widow. I did all my studies and I realized that actually law is not especially what you think. It's a lot about money. So really quickly, I worked for maybe 2, 3 years in a legal department, and then I was like, yeah, that's definitely not what I had in my head. When I was looking at watching those movies where you can see the lawyer defending, the orphan and like fighting for justice, and I was like, the reality is different. That's a lot about money, and I personally certainly had my own challenges when it comes to
Mhm.
making money. So
Yeah.
anyway, I left law for quite quickly, and then I traveled from Belgium to the UK, and in UK I was really able to start a career, but more in communication and already in online communication. That was
Mhm.
2005. So at the time where online communication didn't really mean anything, but that was such a great experience. First of all, because it was about communication, and I really
Mhm.
love communication, and and secondly because it was in an environment where I could really feel myself useful. So I was
Mhm.
really being paid to learn about communication, improve my communication skills, prepare myself for a world that didn't exist yet, the online world, and all of that while really being useful. So that was great. So I spent 10 years in online communication, and then after 10 years, I think that I was like, okay, do you know what? That was quite long. You have been quite helpful there, but what's next? And at that moment, I decided to go into marketing. So in 2014, this is where I started to really immerse myself in marketing. And once again, that was like mind blowing. I was like, sugar.
Mhm.
There's all of that that can be done. So I really spent a lot of time learning about marketing, experimenting. I was investing a lot of money there. I was lucky to also be mentored by really big name in the marketing field. And then in 2016, I was ready to start my own journey in marketing. And what did I what did I decide to do? Because of the advice of a mentor, is to learn sales. So for 3 years, really full, I spent 3 years learning about sales, and I really became passionate about sales. And that experience was great because usually people see marketing on one side, sale on the
Mhm.
other side, and sometimes
Yeah.
there's no connection. And that experience put me really in a great place because I really understand marketing, the importance of getting visibility. But I also understand that it's not because you get visibility that it means that people are going to buy what you have. And my
Exactly.
experience in sales really helped me to be like, okay, now that you got the visibility, how can you communicate in such a way that people are like, okay, yeah, you got something that can help me. So this is how, after like 3 years of learning about sales, I started my own journey as a marketing and sales consultant.
Yeah, you have like the three legs, like the marketing, communication, and sales, that you
Exactly,
become
exactly,
stronger. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. For me, the sales, I'm not that expert as you, but the rest, more or less, is the same. So I want to start
Yeah,
strong today. Oh, yes, tell me.
no, no, go on, go on, go on.
Yeah, I wanted to start with a strong question. It's like the
Okay.
title of our talk. Like, because
Of
we do
course.
the same, more or less,
Exactly.
in a different
Exactly.
different way. But how do you see? We are competitors or we are allies? How do you
You
see
know
it?
what? I wish I could say that, you know what? We are competitors, because we cannot help each other. There's not enough space in this world to have like two people doing marketing and sales. So I wish I was thinking like that, but no, I really think that's the only competition is really with yourself. The idea is to be the best person, the best version of yourself. There will be always people that know more than you, that are more successful than you. So I don't really try to get into that game. So for me, is I really like to see people as allies. And after that, you see if there's some kind of collaboration, some kind of exchange, and some people are gonna agree with that way to see things, and that's great because that makes possible connection like you and me have. And some
Yes.
people are going to be like, no, I don't see the world that way, and that is fine. You got so many people on this earth.
Hmm.
Everyone is not going to see things the same way as you do. But yeah, for me, I see yourself, you and me, as not only as allies, but from the first conversation that I had with you, I was like, oh my days, I got so much to learn from that person. So yeah, a lie for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on the way you see it. And yeah, with us, we were supposed to talk half an hour, and I don't remember the time we started talking. I lost track. Yeah, because it was a
Same
strong
here.
connection. But it's true because
Same here.
sometimes we can do the same thing, but some people will feel more aligned with your way of doing it. Some people with me, some people with other people. So we can do the
Yeah.
same and work
Mhm.
together and help each other. Yeah, I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And that, in a way, I think that life would be much easier if people was really looking more what they got in common, how they can help each other, rather than
True.
to see everyone like an enemy. And the crazy thing is that if you think about it, anyone that is in the Western world has already won the lottery. So
Yes.
there's no really need to see other people as an enemy because we already have enough. So anything else that we get is like in a way extra. So you know
True. True. Completely agree. And you can always learn from people and help each other
exactly,
because everything comes
exactly.
back. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And how
Yeah,
do you think? Yeah, how do you think the emotional intelligence helps you to grow your business?
wow, that's a really interesting question. And I really love that question because um, sales in a way is when you think about marketing, think about sales, you realize that actually that's quite technical.
Mhm.
There's not really anything that is complicated. That's really more like a technical. So can you give me just
Yes,
one again, please? Thank you. You did it.
just wait 1 second for Tevin to come.
Sorry about that, Gemma.
It's okay.
I'm definitely not the kind of a conventional like a consultant or business owner because for me people is definitely like the priority and
Mhm.
um, and actually at the moment I'm normally based in London, but at the moment I'm in Belgium because I also look after my mother.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
so definitely comes before anything, and she needed some kind of a help. So that's why I had to leave you for like a few seconds.
it's
So
okay.
with that, what was the question again, please?
Yeah, we were talking about the importance of emotional intelligence to grow your business.
Yes. So yes, marketing sales are quite a technical fields. For example, like in marketing, if you think about like a platform like a Facebook, people sometimes think that it doesn't work, but no, it's just because it's quite technical, and you really need to understand the technicalities. The same with LinkedIn, the same with email marketing. All those platforms work, but they're technical, so anyone can really learn it. You need to put the time, the effort, but everyone can learn it. Actually, you need to put a lot of time and effort. Marketing and sales is definitely not as easy as people can think. So the technicality is really important. Now, for me, this is just one element of your success to understand the technicality. The main thing is really the communication, because at the end of the day, it's really about communicating with individuals. And at that level, I would say that emotional intelligence is the most important thing. At least for me, I really don't want to see people as clients, as prospects, as leads. I'm not really interested in that. If anything, the way I see things is that I really want to help the person, not like a lead. It's not just, obviously I want to make money. I want to grow my business, to generate income, to be financially successful. But this is for me the result of me willing to help people. And in order to help people, the first thing is really to understand people. And you cannot really understand people if you don't really have a minimum of emotional intelligence. And it's not always natural. Some people don't have naturally emotional intelligence, but everyone can make like an effort to listen to people, to have empathy. So for me, technicality is definitely important, to know what you are doing so you can have some kind of result. But before that, in a way, is to remember that you are dealing with individual, and people need to be understood. So in that sense, emotional intelligence is really key for me.
Yeah, totally agree. That's why I don't trust in marketing. I don't trust about B2B anymore.
Mhm.
It's more P2P,
Exactly,
people to people.
exactly. I like that way to see things, and also that's funny because we can become quite technical. B2C, B2B,
Yeah,
a key account, and like no. It's just relation between people.
yeah,
So I really like that. At the end of the day, it's really about the person, and I think that's the 7 habits of a highly effective people. The 7 habits are highly
yeah,
effective people. And one of the habits, one of the rule, I think, is like to search to understand first, then to be understood, or something like this. So emotional intelligence for me is really key, and trying to
yeah.
understand the other person is really important.
Yeah, for me too, because also you need to know to who you are talking, because you don't talk the same way to a lawyer, for example, with the same vocabulary to a, I don't know, to a teacher. The way they talk and
Exactly.
the way they behave, the life they have is completely different. So you have to communicate in a way that can understand you.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
what I find also quite interesting with emotional intelligence is that that's a word that become a little like kind of a trendy word. Uh, we hear more and more. How do
Yes.
you define emotional intelligence?
How I do it, do you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think to be it's a mix of different things. It's a mix of kindness, empathy. So it's a little of to put yourself in the place of the other person and to know, for example, if I know that you are having a bad day and I have something to tell you that is not good, I don't tell you today. I tell you, I find the moment to tell you, and I try to understand why you did it this way. So I try to understand the situation. It's not just have to do it, you do it.
Hmm.
So this will be a way to say it. What does it mean for you?
That's I like your what you mentioned, and you also have to mention like empathy. I've just finished like a few days ago a book on emotional intelligence from who was it again? From Daniel Goleman.
Yeah,
And
it's
the,
really
the
good.
book was the title is like emotional intelligence. For me, I have to say that like in a lot of books, sometimes I think that they put a lot of pages, and for the main information. It could be summarized in like a few lines. But I like the book. But one of the elements that mentioned that I found so important was that, and I agree with that. When we talk about emotional intelligence, one really important element concept is self-awareness. It's
True.
only when you
Also,
have self-awareness, that you're going to be able to have empathy. When you're so for me, I forget the definition that he was given, that he gave in that book. But I like the idea of that a state of emotional intelligence is that a state of continuous self-awareness.
mm,
So to be able to understand what's happening also inside you.
it is really important.
um, exactly. And also, and then to be able to now recognize what's happening outside, and to be able to adapt based on what's happening with other people. So yeah, I
Yeah,
like the definition of a continuous state of self-awareness.
yeah, that's really important. You need to work in yourself all the time. And also for the
Exactly.
other way around, it was the same that you need to be careful with one person is in a bad day. When you are
Yes.
mad or worried for something, you need to be careful also because you can treat bad someone without meaning it because you are mad and someone comes by, pass by and then you react. So you need to be like, okay, today I have a bad day. Don't talk. just just do your thing.
No, definitely. Yeah. The number of time I think where you do things and then you realize that actually the issue was not the other person. Actually, it was
Yeah.
me. Maybe I should just recognize that state and and slow down a little. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's really important. And what do you think about kindness in
Kindness.
business? Yes.
Um, oh my days, that one is a difficult one. I think
Yeah,
this,
I know.
yeah, that one is a really difficult one. Um, because that's a really tricky one. I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you where I stand with the kindness and how it works for me,
Okay.
or doesn't work for me. So I mentioned to you that in 2014 I decided to really learn about marketing, and I was
Hmm.
there. That's communication, a way to communicate to many people. So I really want to know what is that marketing about, that online marketing. And I spent 3 years intensively learning, studying, being mentored. In 2016, and I was like, okay, I'm ready now. Okay, and my mentor told me, Tevin, I see how passionate you are, and you feel ready before you start your agency. Learn about sales. And I was, oh, listen, I spent like 2 3 years studying like crazy. I've seen traveling literally the world for conferences of 2 3 days in the United States, here, in Europe there. And I'm like 2 3 years of intensive learning. And now that I feel ready, and you know yourself that I'm ready, you're telling me to learn sales. Okay, I was like, okay, I trust you. So I work for that company, MindBody. And initially, I enter in customer service. But in my head, I already had the idea that I wanted to learn about sales. So that was a really big, that's still a really big company with
Hmm.
a big sales department, but I enter in customer service. In customer service, I literally had amazing results. People couldn't really understand how I could have so much like a testimonial from clients, loving the way I was working with them, So I built that reputation in the company to be someone really, really efficient, and really caring, because I received so many testimonials, you will not believe that.
Hmm.
I still have today some clients contacting me.
Wow.
So I spent something like a year in that department, 9 months or something like this. And after 10 months, I was like, okay, um, there's like that opportunity to. They were recruiting salespeople, and the
Mm.
first time I applied for a position as a salesperson, they refused my application. And when I asked why, they told me, you are too kind, Tevin.
Oh, really?
No. Yes, yeah, you're not going to be a good salesperson because you are too kind. You care too much. The word was you care too much about people. So, but this is my
Wow.
nature, you know. So, in a way, we could say that kindness can work against you, and I can really understand people who think that I cannot show any kind of a kindness when it comes to your business. I need to be a little like tougher and that kind of thing. So because and for me it was really, I'd been told you're just too kind, too nice, you care too much.
Yeah.
2 months later, I applied again for the position, and I found that time there was like, okay, this guy doesn't really give up, so we're just gonna give him the opportunity. He's gonna realize very quickly that sales is a tough world and that he's not made for sales. Um, Literally, I started from the bottom. It usually taking that company 2 years, 2 years and a half to get to the top. When if you manage to do that, I literally went from bottom to top in 11 months. Never
Wow,
seen
that's good.
you know. And once again, I was using my kindness. So for me, kindness is definitely not like a weakness. It's definitely not a weakness. Saying
Yeah.
that is also like everything. I think that's Aristotle that says that the truth is usually in the middle between the two extremes, and I I would say that kindness is definitely not a weakness, but like anything, it's like a tool that needs to be used appropriately, because what I've seen also is that at the beginning, for me, I had my own challenges when it comes to money because certainly of my own family history, and it it's it was sometimes easier for me uh, to to help people when it was coming to marketing, as I was working as a salesperson, and because I was paid to sell a software, you know,
Yeah.
and I was using my marketing knowledge to actually add some extra value,
Yes.
and people could really accept those advice. Some people were telling me, "Damn, you are helping me more than my marketing person," when I decided to work for myself, it was difficult actually to give a price and to be paid just for that, And in a way, at some point, I was like, okay, I don't need you to pay me, I first want to help you. And what is really interesting is that I discovered that people would, in a way, um, dismiss the same advice because you would give them out of your heart for free. For me, it was not
Yeah.
free; it was
I
out
know.
of my heart. So in a way, the that kindness can also play against you.
True.
So it's really about finding the kind of a right balance, and that is why now I don't do free. Unless it's in a specific project. But I sometimes still need to find that's easier now, but I needed
Mhm.
to be a little tough with myself and to be like, okay, accept not to be kind, because it's gonna pay again, it's gonna play against you. And in a way, at the end of the day, if people dismiss the service that you have,
Yeah.
not only is bad for you, but it's also bad for them because you know that you can help them. So kindness is not a weakness, but it needs to be used appropriately.
Yeah. Wow. It's really interesting. Which country was that?
Which country?
Were you
What do you
working?
mean?
In which country
Uh,
they told you that you were too nice?
yeah, in UK.
Because this happened to me in the Netherlands all the time. When I started working for myself in the Netherlands, I was going to talk in companies and they were telling me two things, that I was too honest and too nice. And I was like, is that possible? So now you tell
Is
me
that
this, like, wow,
possible? Exactly.
I'm not alone.
No, definitely. I had that comment and I was shocked when I heard that because I was like, what? How
Yeah,
can
for
you
me.
be too kind, to
Yeah.
to care? But I was quite happy because for me, the 11 months to go from bottom to the top, obviously, I think that gives some level of pride. So that's good for
Yes.
the ego. Obviously, in terms of a commission, that's always a crazy commissions. So that's always nice. But what was for me the thing I was really proud about is that actually I decided to from my own initiative to train young recruits with my way of working, where you could be nice, but obviously using the techniques about sales,
Hmm.
because there's techniques
Yes.
to be learned. But and everyone that I trained, there was a kind of a pilots. Everyone that I trained were nice people who accepted to be kind. They all were promoted, So
Oh,
in
that's
a
great.
way, that's an experience for me that shows that yes, you can still be really kind. You don't need to be all aggressive because you want to have
True.
that image of the successful person. So once again, I think that kindness is definitely not a weakness, but it needs really to be used appropriately. It should not
Yes.
be used in a way as a way to hide yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You know.
But it's really curious. I feel really
So that's
good
how
that
I
this
see it.
happened to you too, because I was really surprised
You are not on your own.
because
Yeah.
I was working before many years. It never happened to me before until I moved to the Netherlands. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
That's a one thing about Netherlands, UK. In a way, that's a kind of Anglo-Saxon approach. So I'm not quite surprised that you had a similar experience in the Netherlands. For me, I was in the UK, but there was also like an American company, so that
Uh-huh.
can be quite aggressive when it comes to sales.
Yeah. Well, that is good. When you know how to balance, then it's good, and people like it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's still like a learning curve, because I know that sometimes um, I still need to remember to remind myself that the goal is not so much about okay my nature, kind
Mhm.
or not unkind, or not kind. Uh, the goal is really to use my skills to help other people. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yes.
so the goal is really to help other people. And in order to help other people, I really need to make sure that my nature doesn't really become like an obstacle. So
Mhm.
sometimes I think that yes, in order to help people, I need to be completely myself and to use that kindness. But sometimes I also need to recognize that actually, if I'm completely myself, I might end up actually putting myself in a position where I'm dismissed and I'm not able to help those people.
True.
So that's why I think it's really a question to always that's a learning curve and always
Yes.
to be let's just that self-awareness we were talking about. Sometimes your nature will help you to fulfill your mission, and sometimes your nature can actually play against you. So you need to adapt yourself and to make some kind of effort to adjust.
True. So that's the way. It takes time, but everything we can learn everything. Well, it's really interesting.
Exactly.
It's really interesting, Devin. And if you have to say three tips to the people that is listening to us to tell them how to help them to communicate better in the company or how to interact better with
Yeah.
their people in other companies, the competence, what would you
Yeah.
say?
I would say the first thing I would say once again is self-awareness. It's we take for granted that we are self-aware, but sometimes we don't especially realize what's happening to us. And a simple exercise of a self-awareness is really just thinking about how to breathe. Okay, sometimes we don't especially know if you are breathing if you are breathing in a shallow way or you are breathing really properly. So for me, self-awareness is the first element, and a simple exercise is just to focus on the way we breathe. Every once in a while, just to pay attention. Okay, how am I breathing? And I think that's a good exercise to actually pay attention to yourself. So yeah, for me, the first element that would be self-awareness. The second tip I would say that would be listening. That's so impressive how much information we can get when we actually stop to be in the way and we just focus on what the other person is saying. That's incredible. An exercise that I was doing myself when I was trying to really improve my communication skills, starting with listening. That was to on the phone, for example, to mute myself, to force myself to listen to the other person instead of automatically engage in a conversation. Because sometimes you engage in a conversation thinking, yeah, I'm contributing to the conversation. In a way, no, you're just trying to interject and So for me, the second element is really listening. And then the third element would be another exercise I found quite interesting, based on what you listen and the information that you have managed to gather, to find a way to adapt the way you talk to people.
Yeah, that's
Because
really
I
important.
also I think that it's not so much what you say that's important, it's what people hear. And in order to know how people hear, you need to take the time to find what are the codes, are they really sensitive, So should you use words in a way that are not aggressive, that makes them feel comfortable, or are they more really speed, And you need to make sure that for them you go straight to the point, So for me, that would be the three things. The first one, awareness, simple exercise, paying attention to the way we breathe. The second one is we are listening, and reinforcing ourselves to a simple exercise is really to suppress your ability to answer. So if you're on a Zoom call, you put like the mute as that person is talking. If you are on phone, you put the mute. Obviously, because they can see that you mute yourself, they might not take it the right way. They might think that yeah, right. But at least forcing yourself to answer, to let that person talk, And the third one, that would be to try really as you listen, to gather as much information as possible, so you can, use some kind of empathy and answer in a way that resonates with that person. Maybe you will need to discover that it might not be the time, as you was mentioning, to give your opinion. You might realize that maybe based on the personality of that person, you need to go straight to the point, or you might realize that that person is really, in a way, fragile, and you need to make sure that the words that you use are not too aggressive. So for me, that would be the three tips.
Yeah, those are really important. Yeah, with those three, is the basics to communicate properly. Because what you say, also there is some people that is really analytical and you need to give them data. Some people want examples, so you need to know. Yeah, you need to know how to approach the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really important. Thank you very much, Tevin. It's really
Uh,
interesting.
thank you to you. Even if when I talk to you, to be honest, I'm like, you know what? You should be the one. Gemma should be the one talking, because she knows so much. So thank you to give me the opportunity to
Well, I,
share
I know
everything
I
with you.
know things.
Even if I know so much.
I know things, but you know a lot of things. So now it's your time to share them. So thank you for being here, Tevin,
Definitely. Oh, it's
and
pleasure. It's pleasure. We need to
and
do
talk
that more
very soon.
often.
Yes, anytime you want, you are always welcome.
Definitely, I would definitely make sure that I stay in touch with you. Sometimes send you like a message or whatever.
Okay, have a nice evening, and all of you
Thank
enjoy
you,
enjoy your
Gemma.
day.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. Bye bye. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.